Shalom, dear friends from the nation. Book of Ruth. All good morning. Welcome to Injili ya Milele ya Yahshua Messiah. This is where we always say Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam. We are on the journey through the scriptures. I welcome you in the name of Yeshua. In this episode, I'll be your host, Esdon Evans, to Injili ya Milele ya Yahshua Messiah, as well as the Messianic Daval Show, and also you may find us on Facebook pages, the Messianic Daval Show, and through Yahweh Sacred Assembly, and as well at Victor Kiiru. Welcome back, and may Yahweh do you good as you continue watching us. In episode of the Book of Ruth, according to Hallelujah Scriptures in order to the Tanakh. Welcome. The Book of Ruth, chapter number 1. And it came to be in the days when the rulers ruled that there was a scarcity of food in the land, and a man from Bethlehem, Yehudah, went to sojourn in the fields of Moab, and he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of the wife was Naomi. The names of his 2 sons was Malhon and Kilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Yehudah. They went into the fields of Moab and came to be there, and Elimelech, husband of Naomi, died. And she was left with her 2 sons, and they took wives of women of Moab, and the name of the one was Oprah, and the name of the other was Ruth, and they dwelt there about 10 years. And Machlon and Kilion also died, both of them. So the woman was bereaved of her 2 sons and of her husband, and she rose up with her daughter-in-laws and returned from the fields of Moab, for she had in the fields of Moab that Yahweh had visited his people and giving them bread. And she left the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her. And they went on the way to return to the land of Yehudah. And Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go, return each one to her mother's house. Yahweh shows kindness to you, and you have shown to the dead and to me. Yahweh grant that you find rest each in the house of her husband." Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voices and wept. And they say to her, "No, we shall go back with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Go back, my daughters. Why go with me? Have I still sons in my womb, that they should become your husbands? Go back, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have expectancy, even if I should have a husband tonight, and should also bear sons, would you wait for them till they were grown? Would you shut yourselves up not to have a husband? No, my daughter, for it is much better for me than for you, because the hand of Yahweh has gone out against me." And they lifted up their voices and wept again. And Oprah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. And she said, "Look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her mighty ones. Go back and follow your sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Do not urge me to leave you or go back from following after you. For wherever you go, I go, and wherever you stop, I stop over. And your people is my people, and your Elohim is my Elohim. Where you die, I die, and there I shall be buried. Yahweh do so to me, and more also, for the death itself passed you and me." And when she saw that she was strengthening herself to go with her, she ceased to speak to her. And both of them went until they came to Bethlehem, and it came to be, when they had come to Bethlehem, that all the cities was moved because of them. And they said, "It is Naomi." And she said to them, "Do not call me Naomi, call me Mara. For El Shaddai has dealt very bitter with me. I went out to be filled, and Yahweh has brought me back empty. Why do you call me Naomi, since Yahweh has witnessed against me, and El Shaddai has done evil to me?" Thus Naomi returned to Ruth the Moabites and the daughter-in-law with her, who returned from the fields of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem, and at the beginning of the barley of harvest. The book of Ruth, chapter number 2, verse number Ekada. The word of Yahweh says, "And Naomi had a relative." That is chapter 2, verse 1. "And Naomi had a relative on her husband's side, and man great wealth in the clan of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, "Please let me go to the field and glean heads of the grain after him in whose eyes I find favor. So she said to her, Go, my daughter. And she left and went to glean in the field, and after the reapers, and returned, and they came to the part of the field belonging to Boaz, the near relative of Elimelech. And see, Boaz had come from Bethlehem, and said to the reapers, Yahweh be with you. And they answered him, Yahweh barak you. And Boaz said to his servant, who was appointed over the reapers, who was a young woman, is this. So the servant who was appointed over the reapers answered and said, It is the young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi from the fields of Moab. And she said, Please, let me glean and gather among the sheaves behind the lepers. And she came and said, Remain from the morning until now. She sat a little in the house. And Boaz said to Ruth, You have heard, have you not, my daughter? Did you go to glean in the another field? Go from here, but stay close to my young women. Let your eyes be of the field, which they reap, and you shall go after them. Have I not commanded the young women, but not to touch you? And when you are thirsty, go to the vessels and drink from what the young men have drawn. And she fell on her face and bowed down to the ground and said to him, Why have I found favor in your eyes, that you should take a notice of me, seeing I am a foreigner? And Boaz answered and said to her, I have been told of all that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, and how you have left your father and your mother and your land and of your birth, and you have come to a people from whom you did not before. Yahweh repay your work, and Yahweh reward you complete from your work, from Yahweh Elohim of Israel, under whose wings you have come to seek refuge. And she said, Let me find favor in the eyes of my master, because you have comforted me, and have spoken to me the heart of a female servant, though I am not like one of your female servants. And Boaz said to her, Come here and at mealtime, then you shall eat of the bread, and dip your piece of bread in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and he passed the roasted grains to her, and she ate and was satisfied, and had leftovers. And she rose up to go glean and to glean, and Boaz commanded his young men, saying, Let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not embarrass her. Rather, draw out from the bundles of her, and leave it for her to glean, and do not restrain her. And she gleaned in the field until the evening of and beat out that which she has gleaned, and it was about an ephah barley. And she took it up and went into the city. And her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned, and she brought out and gave to her what she had left over after she was satisfied. Then her mother-in-law asked her, Where have you gleaned today, and where did you work? Baruch be the one who took notice of you. And she told her mother-in-law with whom she has worked, and said, The name of the man I work today with is Boaz. And Naomi said to her, Daughter-in-law, Baruch be he of Yahweh, who has not forsaken his kindness of the living to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said to her, The man is a relative of ours, or our Redeemer. And Ruth the Moabite said, He also said to me, Stay close to my young people until they have completed all my harvest. And Naomi said to her, Daughter-in-law, it is good, my daughter, that you go out with his young women, and that they do not meet you in any other field, and that stayed close to the young women of Boaz to glean, till the completion of the barley harvest of wheat harvest. But she dwelt with her mother-in-law. The book of Ruth, chapter number 3, verse number 1. The word of Yahweh says, And Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, My daughter, should I not seek rest for you, so that it is well with you? And now is not Boaz, with whose young women you have been, our relative? See, he is winnowing barley tonight at the threshing floor, and you shall bathe and anoint yourself, and put on your garments on, and go down to the threshing floor. Do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. And it shall be, when he lies down, that you shall notice the place where he lies, and shall go in and uncover his feet, and lie down. and let him make him known to you what you should do. And she said to her, all that you say to me, I do. Then she went down to the threshing floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law instructed her. And Boaz ate and drank, and his heart was glad, and he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain. And she came softly and uncovered his feet and lay down. And it came to be at the midnight that a man was startled and turned himself and saw a woman lying at his feet. And he said, who are you? And she answered, I am Ruth, your female servant. Now shall spread your covering over your female servant, for you are a redeemer. And he said, Baruch are you, O Yahweh, Baruch of Yahweh, my daughter, for you have shown more kindness at the end of them than at the beginning, not to go after young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, do not fear. All that you say, I do for you. For all the people of my town know that you are a capable woman. And now, it is true that I am your redeemer. However, there is a redeemer nearer than I. Stop over tonight, and in the morning it shall be that if he redeems you, good, and let him do it. But if he does not please to redeem you, then I shall redeem you. As Yahweh lives, lie down until morning. And she lay at his feet until morning, and she arose before one could recognize another. And he said, let it not be known to the woman came to the threshing floor and said, bring the shawl that is of you and hold it back. So she held it and they measured 6 measures of barley and laid it on her, and she went into the city. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, is that you, my daughter? And she explained to her all that the man had done for her. And she said, he gave me these 6 measures of barley, for he said to me, do not go empty-handed to your mother-in-law. And she said, wait, my daughter, until you know the matter falls. For the man is not going to rest until he has completed the matter to this day. The book of Ruth, chapter number 4, verse number I had. And Boaz went up to the gate and sat down there, and see a redeemer of whom Boaz had spoken came by. And Boaz said, turn aside so and so, and sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit down here. So that they sat down. Then he then said to the redeemer, Naomi, who has come back from the fields of Moab, sold a piece of the land and belonged to our brother Elimelech, and brought that I should disclose it to you, saying, buy it back in its pressure of the inhabitants of the elder of the people. And if you redeem it, redeem it. And if you redeem it, redeem it. If you redeem it, redeem it. But if you do not redeem it, inform me, so that I know, for there is no one but you to redeem it, and I am next after you. And he said, I redeem it. And Boaz said, on the day of the buy of the field of the hand of the Naomi, you shall also acquire Ruth the Moabites, the wife of the dead, to rise up the names of the dead on his inheritance. And the redeemer said, I am not able to redeem it for myself, lest I ruin my own inheritance. Redeem my right redemption for yourself, for I am not able to redeem it. And this way was formerly done in Israel concerning redeeming and exchanging, to confirm every word. One man took off his sandal and gave it to the other, and this was a witness in Israel. So the redeemer said to Boaz, buy it for yourself. Then he took off his sandal, and Boaz said to the elders and to all the people, you are witness this day that I have brought all that was Elimelech's and all that is Kilion's and Machlon's from the hand of Naomi, and also Ruth the Moabites and the wife of Machlon. I have acquired as my wife, and to raise up the name of the dead on his inheritance, so that the name of the dead should not be cut off from among his brothers. And from the gate of his praises you are witness today. And all the people who are at the gate and the elders say, witnesses, Yahweh make the woman who is coming to your house as Rachel, as Leah, and the two who built the house of Israel, who prove your word in Ephrata, and proclaim the name in Bethlehem. And let your house be like the house of Perez, in whom Tamar bore to Yehuda of the seed which Yahweh gives you from this young woman. And Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. And he went into her, and Yahweh granted the conception, and she bore a son. And with the women who said, Naomi, Baruch be Yahweh, who has not left you this day without a redeemer. And let his name be proclaimed in Israel, and he shall be to you a restorer of life and a sustainer of your old age, for your daughter-in-law who loves you, who is better than to you than 7 sons has borne him. And Naomi took the child and laid him in her bosoms and became a nurse to him. And the women, her neighbors, gave him a name, saying, there is a son born to Naomi, and they called his name Obed. He was the father of Yeshai, the father of David. And this is the genealogy of Perez. Perez brought forth Hezron, and Hezron brought forth Ram. And Ram brought forth Abinadab, and Abinadab brought forth Nason, and Nason brought forth Salmon, and Salmon brought forth Boaz, and Boaz brought forth Obed, and Obed brought forth Yeshai, and Yeshai brought forth David. Thank you very much. We have come to the end of the book of Ruth. Thank you. I've been your host, Ron Evans. Don't forget to subscribe, to share, to comment, and also to like the good news of Yahweh. Through Injili ya milele ya Messiah, Yahweh do you good. Remember, it's the journey through the scriptures. Shalom, peace, and love be unto you, my people. The hit out. See you in the next episode. Yahweh loves you. Hallelujah.